from Latin America and Kaiwen from Oceania. I'm excited to see how this match will play out. Kaiwen, of course, playing the Mew VMAX deck that he's very comfortable with, very familiar with, played it in the Brisbane Regional Championships to success as well. Of course, the same list, same testing group that Natalie Miller was a part of, who ended up winning that event. And then Gustavo Wada, I mean, what can we say about Gustavo? Former world champion in the juniors division, just a constant top finisher, and not to mention the most recent European international champion, dating back to 2019.
Yeah, absolutely, and Gustavo has accomplishments on accomplishments in his name, and this list is a little bit different than both that we see. The Mew list that the US people have bought and the Snorlax build, or the Snorlax included build that we see, is actually not playing either Mew, or it is still playing the Snorlax, but it's actually playing a little bit different counts, even playing something like a Crobat V, which we have not really seen.
Gustavo playing that Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, pairing it with the Galarian Moltres V, a very interesting card, does still have the Snorlax in there, and of course that ever-powerful Inteleon draw engine.
Absolutely, and we've seen this deck countless times on stream, and even though this seems on paper, right, that's the fighting type deck that's based around it would fold to Mew, it's going to be a similar match to what we had last time as well, where anything can happen, especially when Galarian Moltres is just able to Malevolent Charge onto itself, and then Fiery Wrath and power off a whole bunch of damage.
So looking at how standings are shaping up here, 32 match points should be guaranteed, assuming Table 4, this one, and then Table 5, Mateus versus Magnus, both complete. And if either of these matches ends in a natural tie, actually some players who are at less than 32 match points will have a chance to bubble into cut. So a lot of interesting stuff could happen in this spot, but anyone who's at 32 or above should be guaranteed.
Yeah, it looks like 6 people already guaranteed can just take a simple draw, an intentional draw, and guarantee in. And then the 4 players rather, playing it out at 9-2-2. 3 of them at 9-2-2. Gustavo, the solo player here, without a single draw on the entire day, has just been playing out every single match at 10-3. We'll secure a spot in. Yeah, things can get dicey if we see some non-intentional draws at this point. So it looks like we're going to be getting into things very shortly. We've got our prizes laid out. Active Pokemon are here starting things out. And a matchup we've seen a lot, but that doesn't mean it can't go a different way at this point, as we'll get things started off. Good luck to both these players. That's a very solid start. Interesting choice. Maybe there was a mulligan or something, because Gustavo ended up actually starting that Rapid Strike Urshifu V, which is a big liability here in this matchup. It's
definitely a liability. Maybe if Kaiwen ends up putting down 2 one-prize Pokemon, a G-Max Rapid Flow could get 2 prizes for you, but then it's a 3-prize Psychic Weak Pokemon that you have in your active spot. So, yeah, certainly an interesting call here, having the Urshifu in the active. Could have been some mulligans, like you mentioned, though.
Yeah, things happen. That is probably one of these starters that you do not want to see, but there is always the potential to G-Max Rapid Flow, but I think I can tell this is not necessarily what Gustavo wanted in this case, when the energy immediately gets played onto that Sobble. Does not want anything to do with powering up this Pokemon, especially with that fabled turn 1 Melodious Echo still being a possibility. But it looks like we'll actually see the energy surge right away. It looks like I'm going to go ahead and grab Darkness Energy and pass things over. So wants to just have potential for the following turn, then send things out. You already see it there. He's got the Battle VIP pass, turn 1. Exactly what you want to see if you're Kaiwen. We featured on stream before. It was a close game. I thought there was no out, and then remembered Kaiwen is still playing that Echoing Horn, a card that we've kind of seen in and out of lists, was really in here in Natalie's deck at the beginning of this format when that Arceus Duraludon variant was so popular. It was needed for that matchup to just play around the Duraludon with Skyscraper and just go in and just take knockouts on Arceus and play around that.
Yeah, Kaiwen was part of that testing group that determined Echoing Horn was so good in Mew VMAX right now, so no surprise to see that Kaiwen has chosen to still keep it in for this tournament, because it is that good. It's so good against any of the Arceus decks. The Duraludon matchup you mentioned specifically is pretty nice as well. Galarian Moltres in the prizes for Gustavo could make things a little awkward. It is one of the bottom prizes, so theoretically something Gustavo would take pretty early on. Kaiwen has prized a couple of stadium cards. The Rose Towers are really nice to continue to help you draw through the deck. Also did prize the Fusion Strike Energy, But this field is filled with some Genesects already, has a Mew V down there as well. We will certainly see plenty of cards drawn, and if Kaiwen can find Alessa's Sparkle and a Fusion Strike Energy, we could see the turn 1 Melodious Echo for a KO for 2 prize cards.
Yeah, I can't stress enough how poor the starting Rapid Strike Urshifu V is here, especially because Kaiwen plays the Echoing Horn. I don't know if Gustavo has that knowledge yet. Kaiwen was on stream, so there is the possibility that that knowledge is public. The problem with that, though, is, yeah, your Urshifu V can just be picked off twice. It looks like there is the Alessa Sparkle, though, so it has that option as well.
Trying to draw first, hoping to find the Fusion Strike Energy. Doesn't want to take 2 out of the deck, wants to have increased odds to draw into them. Another Alessa Sparkle. Unthinnable cards here makes things pretty awkward.
Yeah, you really don't want to put these Fusion Strike Energies onto those 2 prize Pokemon, especially something like that Mew. It is nice to be able to attack with it, but at the same time, it is very susceptible to getting knocked out. But looks like Kaiwen is going to go ahead and select to get those Fusion Strike Energies onto the Meloetta and the Mew. Was really just trying to find it before playing the Alessa Sparkle, having a higher chance to draw in, and now has to sort of bank off of finding this one-of card. Does have option to find a Cramomatic and maybe flip heads on a Cramomatic, but that is going to be really the only ways that a play like this happens.
Yeah, or, you know, sometimes you just draw into the Fusion Strike Energy off the one card, you know?
Just draw into it.
Draw it right away. Has one more card can thin out with the Choice Belt. See where that would get attached maybe to the Mew on the active spot, I would assume. Could go on the Meloetta, though, but Kaiwen thinks better of it and puts it on Mew. 2 more cards from Fusion Strike system. Is there an Alessa Spark, or is there the Fusion Strike Energy? There's not, but there is a Cramomatic. Needs a heads.
He got it.
It is a heads. Very nice. Gonna be able to grab Fusion Strike Energy and can get a 2 prize knockout to start the game, and not even using another Fusion Strike Energy so that the Alessa in hand can grab 2 energies out of the deck next turn. I like this.
Yeah, this is a very, very smart play from Kaiwen. You can tell he is extremely comfortable with this deck, knows these sort of niche routes you can take, especially when you're knocking at something like Urshifu that is weak to Psychic, that minus 20 reduction. It will still bring that to 240 damage taken. No modifiers are needed in this case. There is that Melodious Echo, going to be dealing 120 damage times 2 because of that weakness, taking a knockout. And now things are opening up. Kaiwen's going to go down to 4 prize cards remaining. And it looks like we are going to see the Quick Ball get rid of that Rapid Strike Urshifu. And we are actually just going to see the Crobat get grabbed. And Kaiwen has gotten rid of 1 boss's orders, but it seems that double boss to victory is becoming that much more of a possibility.
It is definitely a route that is available. Gustavo looking for some help off of this dark asset, of course allowing you to draw cards until you have 6 in your hand, and it looks like it's only going to be 3 cards drawn here. Gustavo a little bit in desperation mode, it feels like. Evolution Incense is great, can now get Drizzile to Shady Dealings and try to piece something together.
Yeah, at minimum you can at least set your board up, but at this point your opponent can go down to at minimum a prize card this turn to 3, but we know Kaiwen has plenty of ways to find boss's orders with Chromatic, and just in general with this deck, it finds almost the same amount of pieces as the Centellion engine just because it's not searching out individual pieces, it's just going through the deck, and oh, hey, look, there's my boss.
Gustavo using his favorite card here, the Piers, a really cool tech supporter that we saw used to great effect when Gustavo was on stream for round 2 yesterday. Getting an energy and a darkness Pokemon, and there's already energies ready to go in the hand. So Galarian Moltres comes up and hits for the weakness with Fiery Wrath, easily able to take a KO. Gustavo takes a prize card, and now Kaiwen, still with the advantage, sends up the Mew V.
Yeah, it looks like just eyeing up the potential to maybe go for a knockout with this, but at this point, you really need to just put something together. The potential to get, again, 2 boss KOs seems like the best route now for Kaiwen because of this line, but it looks like we are going to see the Oricorio come down. There's the Movie Max, and it looks like just going to be burning some cards to the hand. Yep. It's going to be a big 4 cards. Do we see boss's orders? Quick Ball is a good one. Has the Cramomatic again.
Yep.
I think it's completely fine getting rid of some of these trainer cards, or item cards rather, in hand, such as that Power Tablet. So this is going to be a big draw here. Doesn't have the energy card yet, but I feel like finding the boss's orders is probably your best bet. Still has access to another Fusion Strike energy. One of them is still prized. This is a big coin flip. It is a heads as well here. That can go ahead and find the boss out of the deck. There are less boss than energy, so I think most times here it makes sense to go ahead and grab the boss. It's actually even in, oh no, one more double turbo, so I'm sure we will see most likely the boss get grabbed. Also has the ability to get Echoing Horn as well to just guarantee that goes back. There is a world in which Gustavo uses a card like Clara to put that Urshifu back into the hand, so it cannot be Echoing Horned.
Yeah, Kaiwen's path to victory here looks pretty defined. It is a lot of combo pieces to hit, but if there's any deck in the format that can make it happen, it is definitely Mew VMAX. You just draw through the deck so efficiently, thin your hand down constantly, you get rid of the bad cards, so that you're more likely to find all the good pieces that you need.
Has access to Ultra Ball as well, is actually going to opt to discard that Escape Rope as well. Doesn't really feel that is necessary. Just
I think
looking
that's
through
a
the deck.
tablet there. Oh no, it is a rope. You're right. Yeah.
So many gold cards here. I mean, the artwork is beautiful.
You
don't get me
gotta
wrong,
appreciate Kaiwen's effort here, going for the max rarity. Big fan of that.
Yeah, we just need our gold choice belt now, right? Surely we'll get it soon, right?
Maybe someday.
Yeah, I believe. Regardless, though, is going to be able to thin this hand down, play the boss's orders, can bring up that Crobat, and at this point,
draw needs an energy.
And finds another boss as well.
And there is an energy as well. Now, next turn, just needing to find the double turbo, Mew VMAX, Echoing Horn plus boss. Definitely a lot to hit, but Mew VMAX can make it happen.
And Rotom Phone as well, to potentially stack the deck or draw. Yes, stacking the deck in this case, and there are some good options. It looks like I don't see the Echoing Horn there right now. Has a Quick Ball. That's a fine grab. You can go ahead and put that on top to make sure you can thin off something potentially like a Marnie.
And also get another Fusion Strike Pokemon next turn, since you're assuming this Mew VMAX will go down to a Fiery Wrath.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. Gustavo having an easy path to take these prize cards. As at this point, it's going to really come down to can Kaiwen put together an Echoing Horn plus boss play the following turn. Gustavo has ways to play around that, but even the fact that Echoing Horn is a card in Kaiwen's list is back and forth. We've seen that on and off, right? Especially last round, right? There was no Echoing Horn in the Mew list, so this is kind of where things are getting interesting. And actually, it looks like we are going to just see the knockout. Kaiwen is going to go out to 2 prizes. Fusion Strike Energy still in the prize cards, not very relevant now at this point, as there's nothing else left. As we are going to see that Shady Dealings Drizzile come out, and this is where something like that one of Marnie could get grabbed.
Yeah, I think Gustavo has 2 options here. Either Clara the 2 Pokemon V in the discard pile back to the hand, or put a bunch of single prize Pokemon on your bench so that your bench is full and your opponent's not able to play Echoing Horn.
Yeah, it looks like going for that typical take 1 trainer card, get 2, or evolve 1 Pokemon, get 2 trainer cards, essentially. It looks like it is going to be the Scoop Up Net and the eyeing up Pal Pad, so maybe needing to reuse the Clara that's already in the discard pile. I have to actually recheck Gustavo's list and see if there is even a Marnie in there. I feel like I saw it at some point. Actually, looks like there is no copies of Marnie in this deck.
It does play 2 Avery, which is a card that can be really nice in this matchup. But yeah, I really feel like the Clara is a pretty good choice this coming turn. Let's see if Gustavo already has it in hand.
Looks like going to go ahead and play that Scoop Up Net. Yep. Just immediately rebenching it.
Yes,
and there's the Clara.
Yes.
And we'll see if this is the route. Wow, very aware. What a nice play there. He's going to be able to get out both of those V Pokemon.
Effectively taking away Kaiwen's win condition the next turn.
Yeah, that's why I felt like finding Echoing Horn that turn was so important, because you know guarantee that you can get that Pokemon into play. And that's going to be a big miss there for Kaiwen. And most likely, as long as we already saw the Pal Pad get grabbed, so the Pal Pad can just put it back in. But your opponent's playing no hand disruption. You know you already have the Inteleon in hand. I think things are almost guaranteed wrapped up here for Gustavo. You've got 2 Drizzile in play, right? So bossing up a Drizzile is an option. If you do that, well, the Moltres just knocks out anything in play. So
yeah, great sequence of events. Great play from Gustavo, recognizing that those 2 Pokemon V were not safe in the discard pile. Echoing Horn was a viable option on Kaiwen's end, and now Kaiwen needs to find a way to get back in this one. I think the only real path is going to be involving using Melodious Echo with Meloetta, and I don't think you can do that because that last Fusion Strike energy is in the prize cards, and Kaiwen kind of recognizing, I don't have the plays available. I don't think I can do this.
He put his hands up in frustration. Like, what am I supposed to do with this position? Doesn't have access to the Fusion Strike energy. We need to Melodious Echo onto Meloetta and then attach for turn there.
I mean, it is possible that Gustavo doesn't hit the combo, so Kaiwen's going to play it out and can go in with this Mew VMAX, take a prize card, and if Gustavo doesn't have the Clara to reset the Golden Moltres, but yeah, Kaiwen recognizes that's so unlikely. Gonna scoop it up, save plenty of time for a game 2 and potentially game 3. Gustavo is gonna win game number 1.
A solid showing there and a very smart play. They Clara back both of those Pokemon. Either had knowledge of the Echoing Horn or understood, I need to play around this. This is the only condition here that I really lose this game at. So this is where things are going to get tricky here for Kaiwen. You understand that Gustavo is playing around this Echoing Horn play. Also started one of the 2 worst Pokemon to start in this matchup of any of your V Pokemon, right? You've got your Crobat V, which is even more of a liability in this case than Urshifu is, just in general because of a less HP and also not even an attacker. But and more so in this case as well, starting the Urshifu is worse because it essentially is an 110 HP Pokemon because it has that weakness to Psychic.
We talked about how Urshifu V wasn't a good starter for Gustavo. After seeing that play out, I almost wonder if that was Gustavo's intent, allowing Kaiwen to take that quick early prize card so that Fiery Wrath is more powered up. It's more likely to be doing more damage in the early game because a lot of times if your opponent's just taking 1 prize card, after that, Fiery Wrath only does 70. That's pretty much useless, but by boosting that damage all the way up to 120, you're now able to knock out Psychic Weak 2 prizers potentially, like Mew V. You can also easily knock out Meloetta, things like that, and all of these things led to Gustavo eventually winning the first game.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, that would be genius from Gustavo. So you need to take prizes to win the Pokemon trading card game, but at the same time, you want to knock out more impactful Pokemon. Ooh, wow, look at these prizes here for both players. Not the best.
Yikes.
2 Boss's Orders there
Yikes.
for Kaiwen, as well as 2 of the Mew V. Only has a copy or 2 left. And on Gustavo's side, though, did prize that Shady Dealings Inteleon, so
that's a big deal.
That is a big deal, especially for piecing things together. It is in the middle of the prizes, so will not be the last thing prized. And look at that Snorlax. I'm a big Snorlax fan, I just got to say. Look at how beautiful the big guy. He's got his tummy out and everything. He's having a good time enjoying, but Kaiwen's got to enjoy getting something going on this first turn of the game. Ultra Ball is going to be a good start. Can find out any Pokemon, get that into play, but you're looking for 1 card.
Kaiwen is going to find out here very quickly that there are 2 Mew V in the prizes, and something unfortunate for Kaiwen is that he's only playing 3 Mew V in this list. So with that being the case, there's only going to be 1 Mew V available until some prize cards get taken.
Yeah, looks like just checking through the prizes, seeing the options. I think maybe even the 2 Boss's Orders being there is a big, big deal as well.
Yeah, huge.
And actually, it looks like opting to just get rid of the Echoing Horn at this turn. Actually just going to go ahead and get rid of it with the Quick Ball. Gustavo's just going to check and say, hey, what card is that? All these gold cards I feel like look so similar to each other that I feel like I don't exactly understand which is which, and we're at least getting a better view of it now. So we are going to see that the Quick Ball will go ahead and get these Pokemon down into play. It's a good start, but you know what makes the start even better? Battle VIP Pass.
Battle VIP Pass can supplement any start. Rotom Phone is not too bad either. Let's see what the draw is here. Another Battle VIP Pass by chance? Nope, but another Quick Ball will work pretty fine as well.
Yeah, Quick Ball, you can just go ahead and put that on top, and whatever other cards you get out of the deck, go ahead and pitch it away. Find yourself another Genesect, and you've got another Rotom Phone as well in the hands. So there are a lot of options to work with. So this is where things get pretty interesting. You really want to find that Battle VIP Pass. What's the top deck? Ooh, not really a card you want to throw away at this point.
That double
yeah, this is going to be big 5 cards. Do we see the Battle VIP Pass? Again, no. Does not find any of them, and there are none prized.
Could go for the gutsy Cramomatic play. That is definitely a high-risk, high-reward type of decision, and Kaiwen does think better of it, puts another card on top. Maybe just a card that they feel comfortable discarding to the Quick Ball, something like that.
Yeah, looks like just going to be able to get 1 card off this Fusion Strike system. Could also just reorganize the deck with Quick Ball if you're not as confident in that top deck. So that'll be interesting to see. But I think really wants to save that double Turbo Energy for us. So this is big.
Sparkle and a Power Tablet. Power Tablet, not too big of a deal to lose. Most of the Pokemon in Gustavo's deck are pretty low HP. It is nice to have access to the tablets, though, because you probably want to make a Psychic Leap play at some point, and tablets are really key for that.
Yeah, Psychic Leap is a great attack. Mew VMAX just has, it feels like every attack you would want. Damage counter placing, shred effects, big Techno Blast.
Yep.
You can throw your Pokemon back in like a Sky Return. It's a whole crazy amount. This is going to be big cards here off of this. finds an Ultra Ball. I mean, you can get a fourth Genesect down, but it looks like Kaiwen's just kind of done going through the deck at this point. And there are going to be 4 Battle VIP Pass in the deck that are going to provide no purpose for the rest of the game.
Gustavo plays an Avery here, but Kaiwen didn't fill the bench all the way up. So not having to discard any Fusion Strike Pokemon, I'm sure Kaiwen is happy to see that being played right now, as opposed to at a point when there's a lot more Pokemon in play that they'd be forced to find something to discard.
Yeah, it looks like was able to find, it looks like 2 Sobble off the Avery itself. So exactly what you want to see to set the board up and get things going. Has options here to look at as well. It looks like is actually going to go ahead and put down the Galarian Moltres, utilizing that Malevolent Charge just for 1 energy and utilizing that attachment of that basic fighting. It will be ready to go the following turn.
Uses the Gorman Dice, fills the hand up to 7 now. Back over to Kaiwen. Gonna put the Mew VMAX in play. Probably just try to be aggressive with that. We know that there are 2 Boss's Orders in the prize card, so that limits the options that Kaiwen can really go for.
Yeah, and I believe they are in the middle as well, so that means if you use a boss to take a knockout, you then have no boss until you go through another couple of prize cards. So you'll be limited out of that option for the rest of the game. Rather, until you take those prize cards, we will see the Ultra Ball go ahead and grab the Meloetta out of the deck. So this is going to be where maybe see something like Analessa Sparkle or even just an attachment to the Meloetta and potentially an attack. You really don't want to put up this Mew this early, but also at the same time, it's not going to be knocked out yet from a Malevolent Charge or from a Fiery Wrath. So.
I feel like early on is the best time to attack with Mew VMAX, but that's assuming that you're going to set up a Psychic Leap play at some point.
What a tough discard there. Has to get rid of a double Turbo Energy.
Yeah.
And I mean, you do get to find maybe Oricorio or another Meloetta in this case. Feels fine. You want to Alessa Sparkle onto 2 targets, but at that point, it's just like, what do you even do in this position? You know you're down a good amount of resources in the prize cards. You didn't find any of your Battle VIP past turn 1, so there's a good chance you're going to be drawing into them for the remainder of the game. You do have Ultra Ball and Quick Ball to get rid, but your hand's just going to start to clunk up very quickly, as we'll see, maybe as soon as the second Fusion Strike system, or rather, it's actually just going to go ahead and play the Rotom Phone first. Does find the Escape Rope, though, and that is a very nice grab. Snorlax is not a Pokemon you want to be knocking out, so by playing this Escape Rope, we'll most likely have to see the Sobble be forced up into the active. Yeah,
I would much rather KO a Sobble than Snorlax, because Snorlax is an ability that you can only utilize when you're ending your turn. Sobble can evolve into Drizzile, which is an ability you use during your turn, and that means you can make so many different plays. So by Kaiwen being able to knock out a Sobble off of this Escape Rope, that limits what Gustavo can do on the next turn.
And yeah, you see Gustavo checking the hand saying, oh, what do I really want to throw up here?
I was actually going to give the Moltres up, recognizing how important having access to Drizzile is. That makes sense, honestly, because you can obviously get this Moltres back with the Clara later on.
Yeah, you do have access to that Clara, so you will not be locked out for the rest of the game. It just definitely doesn't feel great when you have to use Clara so early at this point. But you got to put something up in the active, so we will see the Choice Belt onto the benched Meloetta, and 2 cards you can't play there. Battle VIP Pass, and I mean, I guess you can play the Choice Belt, but it's not going to be doing much for you.
Yeah, not super helpful in this matchup.
Yeah,
that's Cramomatic. A big flip, see if Kaiwen can hit a heads. It is unfortunately a tails. Not the biggest deal, though, because I think Kaiwen already has everything that they need to get a knockout this turn, and doesn't take the Mew V, takes the card right next to it. 2 Mew V and 2 Boss's Orders still chilling in the prizes.
It's horrible when it comes down to this Game 2, Game 3 scenario in the final game, essentially.
If Gustavo can set up a Galarian Moltres V play, then this game could just be over because Kaiwen doesn't have another Mew V to put in play.
Yeah, can potentially still take a knockout with something like the Meloetta, but at that point it is a big tempo shift, especially if you are taking prize cards.
I mean, huge. It's 3 prizes right away, and then the Dire Flame Wings brings the energy back. Raihan can get the other energy out of the deck and also accelerate another one, and a Scoop Up Net moves the Drizzile from the active spot, and Aura Burn takes an easy 1-hit knockout on the 3 prize Mew VMAX.
Yeah, that combination between the Dire Flame Wings, the Raihan to attach the energy, and the manual attachment for turn makes it possible to pull out a big Aura Burn attack from seemingly nowhere here. Even has, it looks like, the level ball to get that Sobble out into play as well. Has plenty of Drizziles to work off the following turn, and this is a big time swing for Gustavo. even without the knowledge that so many key pieces there are prized for Kaiwen.
Should be the easy knockout here. And sure enough, 3 damage counters placed on the Moltres. A worthy trade-off when you're taking 3 prize cards. 3 damage counters for 3 prizes. I think I would take that every single time.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to see action start over for Kaiwen. Has the quick ball, so can at least get rid of this battle VIP pass. It looks like eyeing up. Looks like the Oricorio potentially, but at this point, it just seems like the doors are closing on Kaiwen. You can get at least another Pokemon into play. Maybe Alyssa Sparkle.
Yeah, I think Kaiwen wants to leave the bench spot open so that you can bench a Mew V if you take one off of one of your 2 prizes you hopefully take this coming turn.
Yeah, can at least thin the rest of the cards out, and actually, no, it's just going to go ahead and be the...
I guess this makes sense, too, because you're assuming a Meloetta will be KO'd, so that would clear up a bench spot in itself. Really needs to find Alessas. There's one of those in the prizes as well.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's any Alessa left in the deck at this point. There's been so many that have been played. And also a lot of power tablets that were burned early, assuming they weren't going to be needed at this point, right? When is a 2-prize Pokemon and they come down in this matchup? That's just free for me at that point. But it does put 30 on itself. So like Galarian Moltres now having 190 HP left. So is now in range of a... I mean, math right now, if you get another Fusion Energy down, that's 170 damage. So a single tablet would be able to take the knockout. So I have to imagine that's what is being looked for. It looks like still 2 tablets left in the deck. Unable to find them quite yet. Just going to be another fail off of the quick ball. I have to imagine it's got to be what Kaiwen's looking for at this position, right?
Yeah, has a Fusion Strike Energy in the hand. So one more modifier, like you mentioned, can get the KO. Rose Tower, just thinning the hand out as much as possible. With 4 Genesects in play, using 4 Fusion Strike systems in a turn, you can draw so much. Kaiwen does attach to the bench, so that's really forcing the hand here into having to hit Alessa Sparkle in order to attack.
Yeah, finds the power tablet, but no Alessa Sparkle. Big Chromatic Flip does flip
get it. Very nice.
Big. Finds the Alessa Sparkle now. Can go ahead, choose both targets. You've got 2 Fusion Strike energies still left in play. And, I mean, this is not still a great spot for Kaiwen, but it's still doable. It's still possible.
Right. It's certainly possible. I mean, you're taking a 2-prize KO. You go down to 3 remaining. Gustavo can only knock out a 1-prizer on the next turn, most likely. So it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. And Kaiwen's really here just going to be hoping, I mean, surely, right? After taking 3 prize cards, I'll hit one of my 2-prize Mew VMAX or Mew Vs. And we know that that would be the case in this spot.
It looks like we are going to see the knockout.
Yep. Takes a Mew V and a boss off the prizes.
Yep, does have access now to that Mew V and the boss's orders. 280 damage plus 30 from that Choice Belt, dealing plenty to take the knockout. And Gustavo's just going to start things off right away with that Inteleon. Shady Dealings. Just grab some trainers out of the deck. I assume this may be something like a energy. Oh, looks like actually playing the energy retrieval in this list.
Yeah.
So has the potential to not even use the supporter and get back those energies. Can also play the Clara now to get this back, but we see there is still a second Galarian Moltres in the deck. So this is where you maybe can grab something like ways to grab more trainers out of the deck, in addition to maybe a energy retrieval. I feel like I never say that. That card is, we're seeing all sorts of energy manipulation cards we don't see a lot. We saw energy switch earlier on, and now we're seeing the energy retrieval. I've seen it in a little bit of lists popping up. It's definitely very solid in combination with this Galarian Moltres.
Does find a quick ball, and I believe a boss's orders was the other grab here. Clara being played, puts back a couple darkness energies, also grabbing the 2 different Galarian Moltreses, the V and the regular version as well.
Yeah, has option to multiple attackers later on, but I mean, I don't think there's a chance that Gustavo thinks that Kaiwen plays 2 Echoing Horn. We saw that already hit the discard pile on the first turn, but it's always good to get that out of the discard pile as well. The Shady Dealings, Drizzile will come down to get a swoop up net. Picking up that Inteleon means we will see 1 more Shady Dealings this turn on that third Drizzile at this point. So here we go. We're going to see that grab out of trainer. Could grab something like the Pal Pad to put the Clara back into the deck, or something like that energy retrieval to actually get the last energy cards needed, and can even rebench the Sobble and have access to all types of Shady Dealings abilities the following turn. This is an excellent spot here for Gustavo. He's putting himself in a great position to potentially advance to the top cut.
Yeah, and Gustavo has lots of ways to try to close this out on the next turn. Could even get a play with the Pal Pad, putting back Raihan and resetting up that Galarian Moltres V. That is definitely an option. And Kaiwen is just going to concede, recognizes there's no way I can win this game. And Gustavo Wada wins here in round 14 and now will advance to the top 8 of the European International Championships, looking to defend the title from 2019.
Yeah, that's crazy that we have the potential for that story, right, of defending a title from years ago, before the pandemic, before we took a break off from Pokemon. I would love to see that. That's going to be a new story now. Not even, we have the 4-time international champion story potentially, and now we also have defending the title as a potential line. So this is kind of where things are going to get interesting. Very well played from Gustavo. I like the inclusion of that Galarian Moltres V in the deck. We usually just see these lists playing the base